Report town hall session begins right now. We're talking about insecurity in the north. We're calling it trouble with the north. What really is the problem going on there? That is the question we want to answer. Just two things. What really is the problem and what are the solutions? Those are the two things we'd like to get from this conversation tonight. My guests are already with me in studio here. I'll introduce them in just a bit. But first, let me set a stage for what has happened so far. So there's going to be a joint deployment of the KDF and the police operation. We've just gotten a gazette notice from the CS Defense, Edan Duale, on Article 241 3ABC, articulating the fact that the KDF are allowed now to join into this. Another development is that there's a 30-day dusk to dawn curfew in areas that are bandit prone. That is Turkana County, West Pokot County, Elgeyo Marakwet County, Baringo County, Laikipia County, and Samburu County as well. This is coming from the CS for Interior National Coordination, that is Professor Kithure Kindiki, and the Gazette notice from, of course, Edan Duale on the deployment of the KDF. With me in studio are leaders from that region. Honorable Joseph Makilap is here with me, Baringo North Member of Parliament. Thank you so much for making time.
Asante. Thank you.
Honorable Dr. John Namoit, Turkana South Member of Parliament. Thank you so much for making time.
Pleasure.
And we have His Excellency Governor George Natembeya will be joining us from Kitale. He's joining us. He's a governor for Trans Nzoia. He'll be joining us online in just a bit. Before we get into all these issues, and I'll start with you, Honorable Makilap.
Yes.
Where does the problem really lie?
Thank you, Trevor. These are whole complex north, which has a problem that has undergone a lot of metamorphosis from generation to generation to its current state now. It started from searching for cows for dowry to real banditry to now, I think it is equivalent to terrorism and forceful deportation of population. It started from ordinary citizens trying to look for a means of survival to now even more commercialized tourism in that particular thing. So if you really want to find out, we must look at the baseline. How did it start? How is it now to where we are today? So the situation is a complex scenario, which we, during this 1 hour period, we should be able to, give you the insights, and then after that, we also propose some solutions. Because you put it right, we must also have a proposal for solutions so that we can be able, this country can be able to address this problem, because it's going out of hand at the moment.
Some of the proposals for solutions that have been discussed is one, that there's a 30-day dusk to dawn curfew right now. So it's effective immediately. There's the deployment of the Kenya Defense Forces and the police. And disarmament within 3 days, voluntary disarmament or forceful disarmament. Will this work?
Definitely, yes. From what the president told us today, we had a meeting with the head of state, and it is very clear that now it is business unusual. Forceful disarmament is what is required. Curfew, this issue of curfew, who is the problem, Trevor? For example, the Tuken people and Chamus in Baringo County, and even my own people from Baringo North, they don't go for raid. They don't go and kill people. They don't go and bring animals. We have been victims for almost 50 years. Victims. So when you do curfew to victims. Do curfew to the aggressors, not the victims. When you put now, like my constituency, part of my constituency into curfew, why? What criminal mistake have we done?
But there's also retaliatory attacks. So it is fair to say that
yes, in some other areas,
know that there's been cross-border retaliatory attacks as well.
In other areas, I accept. It is also good. It will even, in fact, during that time when there was a curfew, it actually suppressed this kind of thing. So it is part of the solutions. But this deployment of military and all, it is a stopgap to achieve an end.
All right.
Where we shall, my colleague and myself will be able to provide for you an end,
Okay.
a long-term solution that can actually sort out this matter.
Okay.
But for now, because of the situation in the country, the president has done the right thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Moit, why has this been a perennial problem? I was speaking to the governor, Natembeya, and he's a former regional commissioner, and he said that the leaders sometimes are the ones inciting these people and even arming them. What is the problem, according to you? Okay,
thank you, Trevor. Thank you for inviting me to this show to shed some insights into this business of cattle rustling. Trevor, this thing has been recurrent from the time of our grandparents. Cattle rustling is a cultural criminal activity that has been motivated by a number of factors in the pastoral community. This has been caused by a number of factors. One of the factors has just been highlighted by my colleague, Makelap. You remember those days, when you want to marry, you need not to give out the livestock of your parents or your own livestock. You needed to go outside and get something from your neighbors. That's when a man is appreciated or recognized and appreciated as a man. But today, cattle rustling has been advanced to achieve some ends. And these ends, one of it is politically motivated. In the sense that our leaders nowadays tend to see that if they push their community to go and raid, they will get some political mileage out of it. In addition to that, some of our neighbors, specifically, let me just be specific to my neighbors who are the Pokots. The business they are doing nowadays is not the cultural norm of taking away their livestock. The intention now is to expand their territory into other regions. Now that there are places where they graze, it is not enough for them. It is mountains. So they want to get some plains where they can graze their animals. That's the business they are doing. In fact, Trevor, these guys have gotten a booming business outside West Pokot. And the only place they can acquire is the neighborhood. They can acquire livestock, is the neighborhood. They raid Turkana, they raid Marakwet, they raid Samburu, they raid Baringo. The common denominator in cattle rustling is one tribe, the terrorists from West Pokot. I just want to underline that.
Let me bring in Governor Natembeya on this, because Governor has been dealing with this for quite some time. The two of you seem to be placing blame on one side. Governor, is there truth to what the leaders are saying in this studio right now?
For me, I don't think the history of cattle rustling is going to serve our moment. When you talk like that, you tend to justify it. That is good, only that people are now getting killed. Stealing animals is not good. And there's no single community in those parts of the world that is innocent. There are those who steal. Then, of course, we have got counter raids. The Pokots can be blamed for one thing, because for the longest time they were the only community that was armed in that area. Of course, previously they said that they were being harassed by the Turkana. That's why they went to look for firearms. But the scale at which they acquired firearms and the scale of violence that visited on the other neighboring communities has led to an arms race in that region, to the extent that almost all communities in that area are armed. The others were armed, but they're not such a serious aggressors. But the others were armed and they're very serious aggressors. Today you cannot blame the Pokot and fail to blame the Marakwet, for instance. You cannot blame the Pokot and fail to blame the Samburu. You cannot blame the Pokot and also fail to blame the Turkana. There are elements within all those communities that are perpetuating cattle rustling. Interestingly, the young men sometimes who do these things from different communities are in constant communication. It's not easy to get the Pokot and who will walk all the way and raid a Turkana kraal without having a local scout there giving them directions. Actually, when I was RC, there were times you will arrest some of these people when you check their mobile phones. They're in constant communication. So the only thing I can agree with them there is that stock theft has been commercialized. And there are people behind all these menace who are funding it. But my only challenge to the leaders, as I've said, is that let every leader condemn acts of aggression committed by their respective communities. Let no bandit believe that they can get political cover from their political leadership. That's when the healing process will start. Of course, I equally agree with them that the military intervention is just a stopgap measure. We are dealing with a very, very extreme situation of insecurity, and we can't let things just go like that. The military will come in, will normalize this place, but the leaders must take up their position as leaders and take lead. It's just in terms of saying, from now henceforth, I'm not giving you ammunition, I'm not giving you guns, I'm not providing any political cover. And henceforth, all of us, we have never looked for votes, saying that if I'm elected, I'm going to protect you. From there, I think we'll start finding a solution to this problem.
But Governor, this issue is bigger than that in terms of arming the bandits. Because even yesterday, when you were speaking to the president, you said there is sometimes an unholy alliance between police officers who then end up exchanging bullets for goats, at least. So then you cannot just say it's only the leaders who are arming the bandits. Part of it is the administration itself, based on what you had said.
Yes, because if we are sending one platoon of GSU in some of those areas, a platoon is about 30 officers. And then a raid happens, and 200 armed men having stolen 100 animals are passing, or 1,000 animals are passing near your camp. What are you supposed to do? Sometimes you have to engage with these people, give them what they want, and leave you with a gun, because if you lose a gun in the police service, you're going to get sacked. So somehow you appreciate each other. You're an intelligent person. You are 30 people. You cannot take over 200 armed men. So you'll give them those bullets. And as I said yesterday during that prayer day, that sometimes the officers are there, they don't have any food. They'll exchange bullets with these bandits. That is the scenario that we are in. You are confronted with that reality. And you are posting officers in a place like that and telling them that you are going to leave after 6 months. So they go there and mark time, guarding the camp, not trying to do anything, because they are operating under very, very difficult circumstances. But the local political leadership must take the lead. Let them not believe that the solution will come from elsewhere. We can send the military there. When the military leaves and we have the kind of leaders we still have there, the menace will just still come back. There's no ownership. There's no local ownership. Even the local people just giving information to security officers and telling them it's going to be a raid today is very, very difficult. So an officer will ask himself, I'm here. These people are compliant and cooperative. They think that we are intruders. Why should I risk my life? So there are so many interrelated issues in this menace. But for me, I think leaders must step up to the plate and take their rightful positions. Honorable McClab, before he became a member of parliament, he was a contractor, and he was given a road to construct, a security road. He couldn't construct that road. People are saying that when you take a road there, the Pokot are going to welcome this development like his God sent. Ask him. He was given a road to construct, and that road was supposed to serve the Pokot. But for almost 3 years, he could not do that road. I'm the one who gave him security. I'm the GSU. They don't even want development in that area. But as I said, it's leadership, leadership, leadership. That's where the buck stops.
Okay. Makilap, what is the solution according to you? It's interesting.
Thank
that
you so much. I think
have a history with it.
Natembea,
Yeah.
the governor Natembea, His Excellency, actually we worked with him.
Yeah.
And as he says, he puts it correct. Some of those CSU officers, RDU officers in those particular areas work under very difficult conditions. Sometimes they don't get rations for food. Sometimes they are not, when a gang of raiders, bandits, gang up, they can easily disarm the security officers. In fact, I was telling them yesterday, the security officers in those areas are even more insecure than the citizens themselves. Take, for instance, the raid that happened in his place. About 300 bandits ambushing security officers for about 9 hours. No single helicopter could even come to rescue them for 9 hours, So sometimes the problems that they also face, and they are also human beings. They say, I cannot die for this cause. I better survive. And when they go, they see their colleagues dying. So one of the solutions that I can say we can be like that, the road that he has talked about, and we even agreed today with the president that the road between Chemolengot and Lokori, 102 kilometers, needs to be done. And it should be done supervised by military, because you try to do it, they ambush you, they kill you, they don't want that development. And as we even talk, you move along that road, you see a lot of lorries, you see a lot of, even our own, the company that we used to do those kind of things, actually we have a dosa that is banned there. Have a dosa that is already banned, you cannot access it. I've done the road for about 60 kilometers from this side, and the other side this will remain about 5 kilometers. And all of us, and we have been slaughtering goats for these people, but they don't want the road. Even the water tanks, they spray with bullets. We've done a lot of potholes along that area, but they end up shooting those particular water tanks. So one thing that we must ask ourselves, Trevor, and I like what Natembea said, it's not about history. My colleague here said, this thing has changed. My friend, this thing is not cattle exchange. What does cattle have to do with the children of Marakwet being killed? Two children. What does it have to do? What does it have to do with occupation of primary schools in Baringo South? Somebody comes to occupy a school house, school classrooms, put his wives into the classrooms and becomes taking around that area. What has that to do with cattle? Vandalizing solar panels. What does it have to do with cattle? So I think the president now is alive to the situation, and he has actually acted as commander-in-chief, as per that article that you just read to us. One thing that we must do for now, and you can see, when there is drought, there is starvation, the situation becomes even more complex. Lack of water. Why is it that there is now sporadic rain everywhere? It's because of stress of food, stress of water, stress of pasture, together now with political leaders. I can say also, we as leaders, and you can see from the lips of Natembea, he mentioned everybody, but he has not mentioned that two can go to raid people. We don't. It is our culture. Now, this is what I have always proposed when I was in this studio, and my brother can agree here. You see, for a long time, the government marginalized those areas. Children don't go to school. A child raises a mother raises a child, becomes a bushman. He just goes wild. What he knows is a gun. Do you know, actually, even in some, sometimes the Pokots are also suffering. There is some places in Tiati where they even don't know they are member of parliament. They even don't know the assistant chief. The assistant chief lives in center, about 100 kilometers away. Those guys are living in the jungle. They have their own government organization. The Sukuta Valley is a whole jungle where there are people who have nothing to do with what is called a government. First of all, bandits don't obtain IDs, because they believe that when they obtain IDs, government will identify them where they are, or they capture their data. So one thing that you should know, Trevor, and the country should know is we must deal with the mind and the soul of those people.
Yeah.
Yes, this operation, disarmament, forceful, everything, that is okay. That's a stopgap. I agree with Natembeya, and I agree with the president that it is no longer business as usual. But we must have a lasting solution. One of the things that I have always proposed, even I was here some times back, is remember, a gun does not wake up to go and shoot somebody.
Yeah.
You know that. Who wakes up a gun, or where do we get these guns? So one, we must deal with the mind of this guy.
Yeah.
Let's deal with the mind to change the mindset of this bandit. Let's actually, and some of the three things that can change actually the mindset of an individual. Education. The education that I have and Dr. Rico here can actually change the thinking and the life of a person.
Yeah.
Education. Change their mindset so that the mind does not wake up and pick a cannon to shoot someone. Two, take the gospel.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian. Take the gospel to those people. Once you have education, you have, Christianity, or what is called religion, a positive religion, not a cult religion, can really change. And then number three, development. Three things that can change the life of an individual: education, spiritual, what's called religion, and development. When you now focus and you start at an early age, in fact, I've encouraged my president that if you now have some peace schools, model schools along the border of Turkana and Pokot and so on, then instead of doing a lot of, take all the children for forceful schooling, put them there, and then ask even these security officers who are being tortured by bandits to take care of that compound, take care of 2 children, put a chaplain, let them eat 3 meals in a day, because those guys have never been used to 3 meals in a day. After some time, after some years being in school, their lifestyle will change. Change the economic matrix of that region. When you open up roads, when you do water, when you do irrigation,
but these are the same things you say they stop you from doing.
Yes,
the roads, they stop you, the
but
water,
now,
when government
moves in, you change the economic matrix of these people.
All right.
For example, now in Turkana, there is you can do a lot of irrigation in Turkana. Turkana is a fertile land.
Because of the water aquifers also. Let me hear what Namoid has to say about this in terms of solutions. What do you think are the solutions from where you stand?
Trevor, before going into solutions, let me just applaud the government for what it has done now, for the response we just received in the 3 days. Trevor, I believe previous government have failed us in this business of cattle rustling. Government has structures on the ground. Government has a multi-sectoral security team on the ground, including the Nyumba Kumi, the chiefs, the ACCs. Even without taking into consideration the accessibility, the access to information technology, the ICT, they are not capable of utilizing that to identify when these people are about to strike. So government has failed. It has all governments, it has structures to the lowest level. So Trevor, the order that has been issued by the president through CS Kindiki, Professor Kindiki, I don't really buy that order. Giving 3 days to cattle rustlers, specifically the Pokots, those 3 days are enough to beg these guys to move to Uganda. Do you know Pokots have dual citizenship? They are Ugandan citizens and they are Kenyan citizens. So whenever you do, you want to take firearms from the Kenyan citizens, Pokot will always run and rush to Uganda. They take their animals to Uganda. Then they will come back after you conduct a number of peace meetings to see that these two communities come together. Government knows the cattle rustlers that killed policemen and Turkana. They know those kraals where they are located in my constituency. So giving ultimatum of 3 days, may I see It's not proper.
Okay.
So what I needed the government to have done, they could have landed to those kraals. Because when they stole the 600 goats from Kakong, when they killed one boy, this small boy, a 12-year boy, then injured the other one, they took those animals to the kraal. The kraal, which is located where the policemen were killed, where the 3 vehicles were burned. So the government knows where these people are.
Okay.
Then saying, Turkanas, if you look at the 6 month, if you do analysis of the 6 month, Turkanas have not raided. It is only these people, the Pokos, who have raided in Turkana East. In fact, almost 8 times within 2 months.
But
they have raided
Turkana
Turkana East.
Attacks.
Yeah, they have not done. It is not reported. You can go into government records to confirm whether there was retaliatory.
Okay.
There was nothing like that. So government has failed its mandate.
Okay.
Trevor, our agencies, security agencies in Turkana or in this pastoral community, these people are not facilitated. I don't know whether there is budget allocation, but if you look at the national government budget, the budget for Ministry of Interior, there is a lot of money. But this money does not trickle down to the lowest level, at the sub-county level. These people are not capable of moving.
Okay.
Look at the police chopper. The chopper that is meant for surveillance and operation. It is not there. I'm told, I read in the media, this chopper was handed over to a senior government official, leaving the police vulnerable. They could not even do surveillance to see who is there. Then they were ambushed because they didn't have that chopper. If they had that chopper, they could have seen what is happening on the ground. These people are still there.
Okay.
They burned my schools. They burned the houses of residents of Lokwar and Nakuse. When they moved towards Kadengoy, that's when the security agents got to them.
Okay. Let me bring in Natembe on this. Natembe, where do these guns come from? From the time you were in RC, did you follow the tracks? Where do they get these guns from?
The guns come from our neighboring countries, including Somalia, because our borders are long and porous. They're not properly policed, and therefore we've got that challenge.
Governor, but there's also another concern here by Namoit that the previous administration simply failed because it says there are structures there, the chiefs, the ACCs. Were you getting timely information and were you acting on them during your time as the RC?
What you have said, just agreeing with me. There's a lot of echo, please.
Okay, we're working on the feedback. Go ahead, Governor.
He's agreeing with me. We may have these security agents on the ground, but are they facilitated? Trevor, you know, the amount of money that the RC Rift Valley is given to run 14 counties is the same money that the RC Nairobi is given to run 1 county. It's a joke. People sit in Nairobi and they don't understand what happens in our counties at all. The government is capable of stopping illicit firearms coming into our account. The member of parliament for Turkana can confirm that it's not very easy for somebody to walk into Uganda with a firearm, that you are a Pokot and you want to go and look for grass in Uganda and you cross over with a firearm. But it's so easy for these guys to come from Uganda with firearms and come loitering with them in our country. It's basically the breakdown of law and order because these areas have not been given sufficient attention by the government. Many people believe that that East Pokot is actually in West Pokot County. East Pokot is in Baringo. It's in Baringo East. That's a county that had a president for 24 years, a deputy president for 12 years, 36 years of top leadership. You can drive from Nakuru to third place of Tiati in less than 4 hours. But the kind of life that people in Tiati live and the kind of people that people in Nakuru live is completely different. Number two, Trevor, who is the role model in terms of leadership in Tiati. All the good people have gone to school and educated have moved away to Nakuru. All they do is provide supplies when the kinsmen cry that you've left us, these people are killing us, send us money to buy this and that, they send money for bullets. But are they there? In all these areas that is bandit-ridden, Turkana, West Pokot, Elgeyo Marakwet, Baringo, is there any possibility that a pastor can be elected, even to the MCA position, a pastor? A guy who will just say, I'm electing it because I want to preach peace. These people elect the guys who will tell them, we are going to get guns for you. We are going to protect you. We are warriors. These children grow up in those parts of West Pokot, and knowing that all other communities are enemies. Actually, Pokots don't kill each other. You kill a Pokot, you pay a lot of money. But when a Pokot kills another person, they're given, very warrior names that praise them for doing that. Today, as we speak, Trevor, the Pokots from Tiati, who have settled over 100 kilometers inside Turkana County, they don't recognize the authorities there. They don't recognize any chief there. They left their chief behind. They're living in the wild. So if they steal animals and they hide them in those places, who's going to recover those animals? We have let down our people in those areas. There are no basic services. There are no schools there. There are no hospitals there. There's no infrastructure. These people have been left to their own devices. And I just want to make one observation, that when this operation starts, because it's going to start, we are going to have stage-managed atrocities. We're going to have women wailing that they've been raped by security officers. We're going to have pictures shown that animals have been shot by police officers. All of them, believe you me, are going to be stage-managed so that the operation is called off. The president should call these people's blood. Because if you go by that, then we'll not move. I want to ask IPOA to keep off this thing. The people that even human rights activists pretend to be protecting are the ones who are suffering in the hands of these criminals. Give security agencies space to move in and do what needs to be done to restore law and order for the majority of citizens there. Otherwise, we are going to go the direction we are going to go. The president himself will be under pressure to call off this operation after 14 days because there will be cries all over the place. Our animals have been killed, our women have been raped, houses are being burned, and actually you see the media showing houses being burned. But who will be burning those houses? These same local leaders who don't want the operation to take place are the ones who are going to stage manage all these things, and the operation will go to fruition. So this time, I'm hoping that the political leadership is determined to ensure that we go the whole hog and put this thing to bed once and for all.
Yeah, but Governor, Namoit was saying that the government knows the perpetrators of all these things. Is it true?
It knows. That's what I've told you. We have even arrested members of parliament. The government knows. The government knows everything. But I told you I reached a point where I decided to quit, to just quit and go because of the level of helplessness. You know what's happening. You know what needs to be done. You put strategies in place. But the government is just self-frustrating. Nobody wants to do anything. But it's you as the RC who is seeing young babies slaughtered in the Kerio Valley, where even an expectant mother will be killed. Her womb opened up and the fetus killed because the guy is claiming that this baby will grow up to become a bandit and come to kill us one day. The level of brutality is out of this. The scale is so high. But no, the people who are supposed to make the tough decision are locked up in Nairobi, in some court offices. They have got no idea what happens out there. But for me, if we let this situation continue, very soon these bands will be knocking at the doors of Mudaiga and Karen, and there's no policeman to protect you guys. You political leaders who believe that you are yourself, you'll not be protected. So let us root out this problem from the roots, from the source, address all these challenges. Over 6 years of neglect have created a population in Tiati that has got no stake whatsoever in this government, in this country. They believe they are living in their own world with their own rules and regulations, and they can do anything and get away with it. So unless we deal with these problems, And let me tell you, it's not a problem of ignorance. The information is there. The National Intelligence Service provides information to the extent of even providing the location of where these guys are to the nearest 1 foot. That the guy is in Marigat and in Marigat at a particular shop. We have got that technological capability. But no action is taken. When you want to take action, you are basically frustrated. I believe things are going to be done differently this time around. And now you can imagine the president has called in the military. Now, if the military moves in and nothing changes, what will be our recourse? We are now operating a zero option. We either win or win. If the military calls its tails and runs, we have got no country. We officially become a banana republic. And that's my worry. So whoever is giving, the president has given the general instructions. I hope the operational commanders understand what the president means, interpret it correctly, get out there and sort out our country.
So is this 3 days notice that they've been given a good thing or a bad thing? Because based on from what you're saying, it's like it gives them time to prepare. Whether it is a counter ambush or a time to run away, it gives them time. All right, let's take a quick break here and report back with the governor in just a bit as Steve, we are having to have some